The Z to Z Podcast.
Good morning, good evening, or good day, and welcome to the Z to Z Podcast, the home for Xbox achievement hunters and gamerscore junkies. I'm your host, Brandon Freem, and thank you so much for listening. At Z to Z, we love gaming, and in particular, grabbing achievements and gaining gamerscore. We do news, reviews, and interviews. If it's about achievements, we'll unlock it. We welcome two more community guest hosts this week, my favorite Canadian, sorry Crandy, The Nighty, and my favorite gamer tag to say out loud, Doughboy! There will be a brief Pokemon talk, and I'll warn you in advance, but it's short. We spend most of our time talking games, news, and of course, Extra Life 2016. Oh yeah, and there's a little board game talk in there for you analog aficionados. You can find show notes for this show as well as previous shows on our website, z2z.com. This is episode 31. You can also contact us with questions and comments on Twitter at Z2ZZEDTOZED or email us directly, contact@z2z.com. Today's show is brought to you by the achievement The Adventure Begins from the game Gun World 2. This is the second one of those press start for our achievements in as many weeks. And just like last week's, the achievement description is great as well. It reads, 1 gamer score? Uh-oh, that's going to upset some people. Me, on the other hand, it helped me bring my score back to a nice, even number. Even in the sense of a 5 or a 0. Special thanks to developer and publisher MO7 Games. And if you, our fantastic listeners, have a suggestion for an achievement sponsor, let us know. You can contact us via Facebook, Twitter, at Z2Z, ZEDTOZED, email contact@z2z.com. Also, private messages through True Achievements work, but you could also leave it in a podcast review post. And today I've got two new fantastic community co-hosts to introduce. We have Canada's own The Nighty joining us. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Hey, pretty good. And yourself?
I'm fantastic, thanks. And on the other, well, I guess another East Coaster, we've got Doughboy, who I'm going to call Dave. How are you doing today, Dave?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Fantastic. All right, well, let's get the show started. Typically, we intro with Crandy's ridiculous tea drinking mug. I'm told that the Nighty actually has a mug he wants to share.
Yeah, and ridiculous is the right word for it. Although there's no tea in it, it's just water for tonight. But so it's literally cats in space with space helmets on, and there's floating pizza all around it.
Peas?
Pizza.
Oh, pizza.
Pizza slices everywhere.
That's like it's very ZZ Urban Spaceman right there.
Pretty much, yes.
Awesome. All right. And then I'm told, Dave, you have a T-shirt that you want to share.
Yeah, T-shirt I'm wearing tonight is it's from Arcade Block, the subscription boxes that you can get. It is a Deadpool-themed Burger Time T-shirt. So instead of making burgers, he's making tacos.
Very much like Deadpool.
Yes.
So the arcade box, is that, did you just get like, how does that work? Monthly?
Yeah, it's similar to Loot Crate. It's done by Nerd Block was the original one, and then they've kind of branched out to specialty blocks. So the arcade block is the one that I get every month, and it's basically just filled with things similar to Loot Crate. You always get a T-shirt, and then you always get about 4 or 5 other items on top of that.
Just some tchotchkes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's always like in...
I've only had one box that I wasn't thrilled with, but I gave stuff away basically to other people that it would interest them more. Everything else is sitting up on my shelves or in my children's rooms or wherever.
Gotcha. Awesome. Cool. Well, let's move in. We got some intro content just to kind of touch base on here quick. Want to do a public service announcement for Project Spark. Of course, the date is quickly approaching, so if you haven't finished, it's August 12th. Everything goes down. So if you haven't finished that up, you've got 1 month. And like we've mentioned in previously shows, it's getting dicey. So Don't put it off. But for those of you trying to do your Rising Star boosting sessions, where you've got to get 100 downloads in 24 hours, be very, very careful on how you name your achievement world. And Spark Thomas mentioned it when we had the interview. Put the word achievement in the title. If it doesn't say achievement, it could get kicked off the server there. So that happened to that was Facial. Actually, he got up to 87, and they booted him off, and so he had to get a new achievement world up. And I think Foreign Trees, same thing. His Rising Star TA did not have the word achievement in the title, and so the moderators, Spark Thomas, booted it. Well, it's probably not him in particular, but it could have been. Anyway, so when you set up those sessions, make sure it says achievement in there. Otherwise, you can keep rocking on getting those. I've seen a lot of completions come through. I know Damien, actually, Spazpol, he just finished the stack, the Windows version and the Xbox version. So good on ya. It's a fun completion. Are you guys doing any Spark action? Have you given up the ghost on that or what?
Nah. I got the Rising Star achievement, but for all the weekly and stuff like that, dailies and stuff, I'll just skip it.
Yeah,
I don't mind the scar, permanent scar.
I got you. What about you, Dave?
I started it just before they announced that they were going to cancel it, so got the Rising Star. It took 3 sessions for me to finally get it. I don't know what was going on there. I think the first time it was because I didn't put the word achievement in there. The second time I definitely had the word achievement in there, but I got up to 88 and was watching some of the people say how close we were, and then suddenly my entire world disappeared, so I'm not sure what happened there. So took a third time, but it did get it. And the weeklies, I should be on track to get them the week before the last week. So if any hiccups, then I should be okay.
Yikes.
Yep.
That's cutting it pretty darn close.
Yep.
Good luck on that. I got some fun. So one of the weird things that happened this week, and it totally surprised me, but on heels of Pokemon Go, I guess I can't rule anything out for Nintendo, but did you guys see Nintendo's relaunch of the classic NES?
Yeah, I was kind of surprised at that, because the first thing that came up to my mind was, this is fake. This can't be true, because it's smaller than a NES cartridge. So the cartridge won't fit in it at all.
Looks like an external hard drive. Like, that's about as big as they made this thing. This person's holding it in the palm of their hand, and it's essentially the size of an external hard drive, but they still can buy the big original square controller. I mean, which is like half the size of the box. It's obscene looking.
Yeah, but I've heard like there's 30 games pre-installed, but you can't put a cartridge in it.
No, yeah, there's nothing modifiable. It's just literally and my son has one of these, like for a Spider-Man game, right? You just plug it into the HDMI of your TV, and the actual controller itself has all the game data in it. But this one is, you can actually get the old school controller. I got the list of games in front of me. I'm gonna run through here. It's only $60, which that's kind of cool. I know my son is pretty excited about it, and you got some of these like old school 2-player games, to play on the old controller. The nostalgia is very real. But here we go. We got Balloon Fight, Bubble Bobble, which I loved, Castlevania, Castlevania 2, Donkey Kong Jr., Double Dragon 2, Dr. Mario, Excite Bike, Final Fantasy, Galaga, Ghosts and Goblins, Gradius, Ice Climber, Kid Icarus, Kirby Adventure, Mario Brothers, Mega Man 2, Metroid, Ninja Gaiden, Pac-Man, Punch-Out, Star Tropics, Super Contra, Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers 2, Super Mario Brothers 3, Tecmo Bowl, Legend of Zelda, and Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. Those are like if you had to sum up like the best games on Nintendo, like that pretty much is the list, right?
It's missing a Joust in there.
Oh, that's Atari, technically. That's super old school. Yeah, the only one that's not on there that is kind of a glaring omission, Tetris.
Yeah,
you got Dr. Mario, but you don't have Tetris.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of a critical omission. But I'm trying to think of anything else that it's like, man, when I was a little kid, what did I play that was just like, oh man, Star Tropics. That was I remember just being tough as nails. I'd be curious how, like, going back to that, if it's still just as brutal as I recall, or, I was just a little kid and it's not, totally over my head when I was just that little, a little tot. But, are you guys interested in picking this up at all?
I've got, I've got an original Xbox that I've modded.
Oh, yeah?
And buying an original Xbox plus paying someone to mod it cost me less than this is going to cost.
Wow.
So on that console, I've got like emulators for everything before N64 and prior.
Sure.
So I've got like the list of all NES titles that was like officially released. Like every title you can imagine, it's on it.
Nice. Yeah, there's a lot of emulation software out there that can make this real easy, and you can play it on your PC, no problem.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's why Nintendo jumped on it. I know the last 2 years at, I think it was Rite Aid, you could buy a Sega Genesis similar to this that had, I think, 30 or 40 games on it.
Oh, really?
It was preloaded. I know every year when it got close to Christmas, instead of the $60 they were asking, it went half price to $30. I don't see that happening with the Nintendo one because they haven't done this before and because of the titles that are on there. But yeah, it might be something I might grab. A huge Kid Icarus fan. I buy it every version that's come out so far, and
right,
it's the same one, but it's definitely something I probably want to add to my collection.
I kind of think the same thing, just to have that as a collector's piece, right? This tiny little Nintendo. Anyway, so in the Nintendo vein, obviously, Pokemon Go is like just obscene right now. And I've had multiple people on the friend feed, who've picked their teams, right? We got, I think Big L went team blue, or no, B Smiddle went team blue, Big L yellow. Anyway, you got this battle between who's on what. And then, of course, there's all the Pokemon Go away people. According to TA himself, Rich Stone, the TA offices have become a Pokestop. So, WebChimp and Rich can be sitting in their, palatial estate there, just spinning that Pokestop, getting free loot. Have you guys jumped on the? Oh, you can't, Nighty. You want to so bad, but it's not in Canada, right?
Agreed. Like, yeah, you can like cheat it out with iPhone if you change your region to USA. But I've got an Android, so. Apparently there's like no workaround because Android like really knows where you are. But and like they on the websites and everything, they've been saying like even when it will be officially released, people who have not been cheating their way through are going to be so behind.
Oh,
so
I bet.
that's a bummer, but whatever. I'll just wait for it to officially release, I guess.
Yeah, I know, absolutely. What about you, Dave? Do anything for you?
Yep, I've got it on my iPhone day one. Been playing it when possible. The servers have just been really
real sketchy.
Yeah. Pretty much I'll go out for lunch, don't expect to get on because at that point everybody's trying to get on. But yeah, if you're not going during your lunch break or not right at the end of the day, you're usually pretty good.
Yep. No, I get the same thing. I was just at a barbecue with the neighbor kids here and was making some popcorn for all of them. And I was like, I'll just see if anything's in the area. And sure enough, there's a bell sprout on one of the kids' heads, so I took a picture, and I mean, they thought it was a hoot. My son is like freaking out about it every day. He's like, "What'd you catch? What'd you catch?" I'm like, "Buddy, I actually have to work at work. Like, I can't just walk around my office looking for Pokemon," which apparently you can do. And I'm watching right now. So David Robustelli, that's probably pronounced differently, Robustelli. He's a developer who's been working on some HoloLens projects, and I'll put it in the show notes here, but on his Twitter feed, he linked a video. Essentially, he made Pokemon Go on the HoloLens. So he's walking around in, that dual camera thing where they show, what you're seeing in the HoloLens through the headset for the video purposes. And he's walking around his office with the Pokemon jumping around, and then he taps his fingers and throws a Pokeball at him. Super rudimentary, but like this is exactly, the type of application that works just phenomenally with HoloLens, this augmented reality with, Pokemon flying all over the place. Yeah, I don't know. I would like to get HoloLens, set in my hands so I could actually play with some of this stuff. But anyway, Looks cool. Go watch the video. Good work on that, guys. Okay, so we have finished, and I was hoping Spanky and Spronkle would join the show with me. We finished our Playing Zed challenge for the week, and Spanky did not play BioShock, so I win by default. I made a bunch of progress in it, but I didn't finish it. I wanted to finish it in the time. Life gets in the way. That's what happens. But let's see, how far did I get? So I got like 60% through the story and realized that I had missed 2 of the audio logs that are part of the missable achievement at the very beginning of the game. And so I went back and looked, and I'm like, oh, crap. Okay. So there's 2 missable ones in an area that you cannot revisit at later in the game. There's one more location you can't revisit, but I hadn't made it to that point yet. So I'd asked around. I'm like, okay, do I play through this and just finish and then do an audio run? And overwhelmingly, people said, you're going to want to just start over now. So that's what I'm doing. I'm starting over. In that time frame, though, I did end up getting like 14 achievements, I think, this week in that game. So I made a decent chunk of progress. My goal is, again, I need to finish that. I need to get through that story. I'm loving it, right? It's such a phenomenal game, so I can't wait till I get to see the end of it. But that brings us to the new Playing Zed challenge this week. Angel SK, so Joe, is taking on Lord Chibello in Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens. So they're going head-to-head. They both started it. Joe has put in 8 hours. Lord Chibello's put in almost 6 hours, but they're at the same. They both have 12 achievements, and they both finished Chapter 4. So they're both playing from Chapter 4 on. It's a pretty good head-to-head matchup here, although Joe has significantly more studs collected and has killed twice as many dudes, but Lord Chibello's got the gold bricks going for him. So I don't know. This could go either way, but they're going to play this out for the week, and we'll see what happens. So good luck on you two. I think that has already started as of recording. So we'll see who's made progress where. And then finally, what I want to touch on is Leapfrog. Holy crap, this thing just keeps on going. So as of today, it was a 15.4 ratio. Terrigan's still alive, and he unlocked his 15.4, actually hit a 15.48, just cleared the bar. There were 18 people left heading into today, so I don't know. We're getting to crunch time. Do you guys? So I made a prediction on last show where I thought this thing would end, and it would be July 21st. Do you guys have an end date or an end ratio? You think this is going to take these last 18 people out?
I have no clue. I'll say around 18 or something.
An 18 ratio?
Yeah.
All right, we'll lock you down. What about you, Dave?
Yeah, this is just something that, like you said, the trick is being the second one to get that achievement. This could go on for a while, but
it really could. There's a ton of games coming out. It's crazy. It's
going to become an investment as far as financially as well, then, because you're looking at all those new titles.
Absolutely. So, yeah, good luck on you, Terrigan. Oh, and I forgot one final thing here that I want to mention in the intro content is the leaderboards. So you guys asked for them, and we are delivering. So you can go to, we have got the leaderboard. There's a website through our ZZ.com, the web address, and you can find it in the show notes, but I'll repeat it here. It's simply leaderboard.z2z.com. Leaderboard is one word, of course, no underscores or any of that kind of stuff. So leaderboard.z2z.com. You click on that bad boy, and it will show you everybody on the True Achievements leaderboard, and you can look at how people have changed over the period here. You can actually modify this format to be whatever you want it to be. So you could be like, okay, I want to look at what was the change in number of achievements from July 1st to July 10th. And you can type that in, and it'll you can see how long you want to check. You want to check every week. You want to check which day. Fires this thing up, and bam, you've got a ranking 1 to how many people are on this? We've got 1 to 108 right now. So yeah, if you're not on there, but it's fantastic, right? And it shows you your change. It shows you your ranking. It's all there for you guys to take a look at, play with. That's leaderboard.z2z.com. It's cool. And we got a bunch of people on there. I'm not doing so good. I'm in 89th position for Gamerscore overall on our leaderboard, and I dropped. We had a new recruit just jumped in, and pushed everybody down. So anyway, go check that out. It's a cool resource. Last thing, I said the last thing was the last thing. This is the last thing. We are ready to make the announcement. We've got it locked up. We are launching our community forums August 1st. So on August 1st, we are going to open up our Z2Z community forums. I've got the link in front of me here. When it gets closer to go time, we will share that link. We're still just kind of adding some content, getting things squared away, but we're gonna launch it, and we're gonna start the whole thing with the monthly contest for. So it was the birthday tag challenge over at the Achievement Hounds forums, where you unlocked games that had letters according to a person's birthday gamer tag. Not the case this time. We are going to go with a different set of parameters for picking gamer tags, but they're absolutely going to be gamer tags of people in the community. However, we are going to start August with the name of the show, Z2Z. So ZEDTOZED. That means you need to play 2 games that start with the letter Z, 2 games that start with the letter E, 2 games that start with the letter D, a T, and an O. So a nice, easy 8 games in the month of August that begin with that. So, let's Zombie Driver HD, Ubisoft's zombie game. We can do Ori and the Blind Forest, Enslaved Odyssey to the West for E. There's tons of options. It's great fun. We will have, we'll come up with some type of prize for that. And all that will be announced on the forums when we get that link. So keep your eyes and ears open for our social media accounts and when we make that announcement. And, of course, the True Achievement Leaderboard is a great place to get that information. We will post the link in there when we are ready for you guys to all come and visit. But putting a date on it now gives us the impetus to actually make it sure it gets done. And we're excited to open that up and have a place where we can all go and post all our random crap and try to get a nice, lively community discussion going. So looking forward to that very, very much. Okay, that's a lot of intro content. Let's get into what we've actually been playing for the week. I've already done mine pretty much, BioShock. I've played a ton of BioShock, and I'm not quite done playing BioShock. I can't wait to get back into it, but I've had a busy week. How about you, Nighty? What was your week looking like?
Pretty good. I went with Crandy's USB to MIDI adapter thingy for the Rock Band games. So I've been dabbling with that. So that's been pretty
ruining the music genre.
Well, yeah, I guess so. A lot of people are against it. You can see it while I'm looking into it, and people are like, "Oh, you shouldn't be doing this. This is so horrible. Ratios are going to go down." It's okay. It's okay. Other than that, I picked up The Incredibles Adventures of Van Helsing 2 because I completed the first one with the 1000 gamer score, and you can actually import your character from the first one to the second one. And my character was on hardcore, obviously, so I started anew on hardcore mode. So that's pretty
nice.
Awesome. And other than that, I've been playing Overwatch. I've been crazy addicted to that game ever since it launched. I bought it a couple days late because I was really trying to tell myself not to buy it, convince myself not to buy it,
Right?
It failed miserably, and oh my god, such a great game! I'm loving it. I'm screaming at my TV, and yeah.
So have you seen, we talked about it on previous shows about just the negative, people getting bad rep and stuff. Have you seen any of that fallout of people, bombing your score or your rep and having a hard time connecting, or has it been pretty cool, pretty chill?
Well, I do play a lot of online games, so for me, I don't even think I've got anything with that. But I can see how people that don't play a lot of games that get into this game can get downvoted, because they've been addressing that since it launched almost. They need to figure out a way to fix this. But no, personally, I haven't seen anything, and I haven't heard from people I've been playing with. I guess we're just not good enough.
Yeah, right.
But no, I think, like you said, there was a trick with Neverwinter, which I played Neverwinter a bunch, so I'm sure my rating cannot go down.
You got a nice buffer on your rep. Yeah, I don't know how that ends up working. Like if it's the number of, do I have this just ton of cred built up because I've played a ton of multiplayer games and I'm not a douche, or can it be just switched on real quick, right? I guess I don't know.
Me neither. I mean, maybe it looks at the last month or couple months. I really have no clue.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been an issue when they've been trying to address it. So, especially now that competitive play just came out a couple weeks ago. So, you
got some favorites? Who do you like to be?
Yeah, I like to be Roadhog, the huge
big fat guy.
Yeah, the fat guy with a hook and a shotgun, which on paper seems broken because I hook you, bring you to me, and then I shotgun you in the face.
Yeah. What's so funny? Everybody I listened to about this game, and I played it, and I played the beta of it too, and it's like everybody says like, "Well, this is my favorite character," and he is so OP, and it's like everybody says their character is OP, and it's like, is it so? It's just so awesomely balanced that everybody's OP. And there's just brilliant counters for everyone. Like, how are you going to beat Bastion? Well, Genji can take care of him, no problem. Or, there's a bunch of guys who can take care of him, no problem. But if you're Reinhardt, you get your crap kicked out of you when you see a Bastion sitting there. Junkrat, just the bane in everybody's side. Like, how do you get rid of him? Well, he's kind of a glass cannon. Like Mei is a glass cannon too, right? Anyway, there's just so many, nuances to that game. It's...
Yeah, but no, like every character you explain it on paper in like a shooter genre type of game, and you're like, wow, that's stupidly broken. But since everyone is stupidly broken, it balances out. And they've been pretty consistent with the updates, because I've been playing like Smite a long time, and sometimes PC get the update and then they file to Microsoft to get it out on the Xbox, and it can take up to months. But Overwatch has been pretty much on point. Like couple weeks after, at most, you get the same update. So that's pretty nice.
Did you? So does Xbox have access to Ana yet? The healer sniper?
No. I haven't played in the last 2 days.
Okay.
So not since 2 days.
So that was just announced. The new character. It is. It's Farah's mom.
Yeah.
Is a healer sniper, and again, everyone's like, well, she's broken.
It's kind of stupid. You shoot your allies, you heal them. You shoot your enemies, you hurt them.
Yeah, and she's got like she has that like stun pistol, like where the dudes can fall asleep, and some sort of what I don't know, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like some sort of grenade that prevents your enemy from healing, and if your guy is in the radius of that grenade, you actually get a boost to your health. Like, that's an awesome buff, right? And if you've got a scrapper, like your dude, right? Roadhog, who's up in the mix.
Yeah.
You toss a grenade in, that guy's debuffed, and you get a boost of health back. So, it sounds cool. Again, and that's the beauty of this game, is that when a character like this comes out, all of a sudden now you've got a completely different meta, right? The whole thing changes. How do you incorporate this new player into team battles? How do you, counter this player? What does your team makeup look like? And I'm curious, if Blizzard is going to be able to trickle these out enough or change it enough where, there's not like that, like the meta takes a little while to figure out.
Right. I hope they do keep on releasing them every couple months or something. This way, like, it keeps the game fresh. I mean, strategy will change if only one hero is added. I mean, you've got 21 heroes right now, and there still haven't been like one type of like always that one offensive character. It's like depending on the map, depending on the opponents, depending on so many stuff. So it's always like, I feel like I've never played the same match like twice. It's not always the same matchup, but if they keep it fresh by adding characters, it's just going to be like even better.
Cool. Awesome. You got anything else you want to touch on, or should we see what Doughboy has up his sleeve?
I just got the new game Dangerous Golf. Well, Griffey bought it, Console Buddy. So it's pretty funny, but it's nothing too serious. Don't take this game seriously. You're just breaking stuff with the golf ball. It's fun.
How is the golf mechanics though? I mean, does it play nice, or is it just kind of you just like to go and thrash things?
Yeah, you pretty much like you get one shot, and then you have to hit a certain amount of items to get like a fire shot. And once you're in that fire mode, you can actually move the ball, like control it for a certain amount of time. And after that timer goes down, the ball is just idle on the ground, and then you need to putt it in the hole. And if you miss the putt, it's you lose half your points. But putting is extremely easy, and you can easily like the hole is just super huge, and if you're just shooting over the hole, like you'll get it in for sure. Even if you're going like 25 times as fast as would pass over it, obviously, but it just goes in. Right. And you can do like 3-4 ricochets off the wall to put it in. So, is it fun? Is it? Yeah, it's interesting.
How long can you play it before you're like, okay?
I played it for like 2 hours, and I stopped just because I had to go eat. So I wasn't like burnt out.
That's cool.
I'll get back to it, but I'm still just at the start. So
sure, cool, awesome. All right. Doughboy, what about you? What have you been up to this last week?
Pokemon Go was if the servers were up, I would be higher rank. But yeah, anyway, no, that was my external gaming experiences. But internal, as far as the Xbox is concerned, played Gems of War. Sat down for a 30-minute session, and in that 30 minutes popped 4 achievements. So I was really close to some of those higher tier ones that I've been trying to finish up. So I've got 410 gamer score in that this week. Started Pac-Man 256. It's actually a really fun game. It's basically Pac-Man, but it's kind of like an endless runner. So the board just keeps extending, and you just try to get up the board as high as you can.
Oh, interesting.
The achievements wise, it's I unlocked 500 gamer score in about an hour. And there's only 1 or 2 that might be rather extended as far as how long you're going to have to put into the game. Basically, you get unlocks for different power-ups, and the power-ups themselves, you can make them stronger. So you have to max out your power-ups, and that's like the hardest achievement. Just as far as longevity, it's not really a hard achievement. It's just time you're going to be putting into it. Okay. So there's 10 achievements, each 100 points, and they just unlock as you go. Played some Letter Quests. I've been grinding through that because that's going to be a long game. Mostly, this is kind of a puzzle week for me, I guess. It's what I dumped most of my time into. And then finally, after 10 years of Xbox gaming, finally beat Avatar: The Last Airbender. It just sitting there, wanted to be played, and finally popped it in and completed it.
I was going to say, you beat it, or you got the achievements?
Yeah, I got all the achievements and finally finished that up. Yep.
Nice.
Took a whole 3 minutes. Long time. So.
You joined the club, huh?
Yeah. Yep. I'm either hated by half the listeners or loved. I finally did it.
Yeah, right. And for no reason than just to get on your card.
Absolutely.
Did you guys, either one of you guys, do a bean dive at all? Do you guys participate in that event each year, or?
I've never done a bean dive ever, so no.
Not your thing?
No.
I tried to do it last year and didn't hit submit before the event ended, so mine didn't count, and just didn't do it this year.
Oh, bummer. Well, that's too bad. All right. Well, cool. Great recap. Let's move into some of our listener feedback. This last week was we had some immensely positive feedback on our last episode 30 with Randall Thor 19. Man, it was awesome to have him on the show. And like I said, there were so many people who reached out and said thanks, and Rand himself sent to Twitter, "Hey, thanks for having me, guys. Love talking with you," which we echoed the response. It was great. We really appreciate it. And so some of the comments that we've had, Mike Spin 92 here, he got us early and was like, "Oh, I'm excited to hear about it." And Rand said, "Hey, I think it was an awesome show. It'll be fun." Mike Spin went out and listened. He said, "Awesome show. Hope enough people bug Stallion about the Gamerscore podcast coming back." To which, Nighty, you had a response to that, didn't you?
No.
Who was it? It was McLovin Legend. That's who it was. McLovin Legend says, "We don't need the Gamerscore podcast to come back when we've got Z to Z. Get Randall Thor on every week." What a really great episode. Thank you.
I'll agree to that, though.
Thanks, McLovin. That was a fun episode, fun to do. And actually, I saw on Rand's friend feed, he pulled in a new listener for us. So Ghost World, thank you for giving our show a chance. Hopefully you listen to follow-up shows that don't include Rand and hear your shout-out here. But he said, "I really enjoyed your appearance on the cast, mate. Some real insight into the past and present attitude of Microsoft." I think that was probably the most fun of having that interview, was hearing like those personal conversations that Rand had with the execs at Microsoft. And he even actually this week, if you guys haven't gone back to look at the TXR podcast, you can go back to their archived feeds, but they just had Aaron Greenberg on. And it was fantastic. Even during, so they, as Rand mentioned, they stream to YouTube while they have the show on live. And Mike Ybarra and Phil Spencer jumped into chat, and so they were watching the show along with everybody else. And people are firing questions in the chat on the to the hosts as well as within. It was great. It was a really, really cool. Really cool dynamic. And then, of course, we just had a bunch of one-off comments through Urban's blog, where then when we posted the show, JDM1, podcast is one of the best I've heard. Great length, good all-around chat. Speedy Gamers 90, hey, glad you put him on the show. B. Smiddle, great listen today. While I watch the zombie masses hunt for Pokemon outside my window. Also, Glow Blue. So we got that in there for you, Smiddle. But yeah, he got to watch on a lunch break, and all the crazy people following their phones around for Pokemon. Oh, and of course, TA himself, Rich Stone. Really great Z to Z podcast this week with Randall Thor. If you're interested in achievements and Xbox in general, you should listen. Thank you, Rich. I appreciate that. But going back to the Pokemon Go stuff. M. Sir Sewerin, I always screw that one up. He said, we had talked on the show about Pokemon Go style games for Microsoft, where, a game that you can, obviously you got to get achievements in it, right? But it's a Pokemon style game, and he had a brilliant idea. So mine was Minecraft. I thought that was a good idea. I think it could work. His was Viva Pinata. I mean, like, that almost is Pokemon, right? Like, if you just walked around the world and caught pinatas, or, like, instead of the Pokeball, you just had a little stick and you swiped to just bash these pinatas that you find in an augmented reality universe. I mean, that's just brilliant. Of course, you want to catch them and, breed them and whatnot, but...
If it's pinatas, you'll get even more people getting injured playing it. They'll be waving, like, their phone around and hitting people in the face.
Sure.
I was aiming for the pinata.
Do you guys have any ideas of games that might work in the Pokemon Go craze? I mean, you got to imagine that we're going to get a bunch of copycats here in the near future with how popular and successful this was. What are your guys' pitches? Do you have one?
NHL? No, I have no clue.
Hockey Go,
Yeah.
NHL on the go.
No, well, I saw something
look,
on.
there's Sid Crosby over there. What's he doing?
I saw something on Facebook pop up. It was a video with some. It was like a little light you put up on your phone, and it's a first-person shooter. And depending on the color of the light that's on your phone, that's your team. And if you shoot, like you tap on your phone to shoot, and if you kill someone, their light comes red, so they're like eliminated.
Sure.
So it was like kind of like a first-person reality
So it's
shooter.
like, it's like mobile
Yeah.
laser tag.
Kind of, yeah, pretty
out in
much.
the world?
It's like where was that when I was a kid?
Could you play that like through the satellites and stuff, or is it each person just you have essentially your phone becomes the light gun?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Your phone becomes a light gun, and I guess your target too. And it
I
was said
suppose you
something.
get the camera and you can click on somebody and
Yeah,
it'll identify them if they're in your lobby or whatever.
yeah.
Interesting. I've never heard of that.
It's like augmented reality too, but it's like it said something like up to like 50 feet or something. So it
That's
had like
pretty
a
good.
good range too. So.
What if you upgraded to the sniper rifle though? Did you get the sniper rifle phone?
Just stay in your house and looking out the windows and sniping people?
Interesting. What about you, Dave? Any ideas? Any games that you want to see in the mobile space?
No, I honestly hadn't thought of that. Something else. I mean, obviously something will. Like you said, it's going to be a copycat. Something so successful at this point.
Yeah.
And it's making money. You don't have to pay to play it, but there's definitely extras that you can buy, and people are doing that.
Well, I saw an article, and I've been reading a bunch of articles on just this whole craze. It's fantastic, and I think Damien mentioned it too. He's like, it's going to be one of those things. And whether or not it has the legs, I don't know. But he said like, oh, we're going to look back and be like, oh, remember the Pokemon Go, the summer of Pokemon Go in 2016? Like, it certainly is going to be that. Whether or not it's going to have legs beyond that, I don't know. But the fact that it's such a phenomenon now, it blows my mind. And I'm just reading all these articles, and one of them was, I see a lot of businesses, both who are negatively affected and positively affected, right? The negative ones, like, people hunting for Pokemon in the Holocaust Museum, right? Like, it's not an appropriate place to be playing games like that. Cemeteries, it's, that can be a difficult place for other people if you're out there running around trying to catch Pokemon. But other places, other businesses, certainly ones who cater to, serving people, love this type of thing. And, so I've seen pizza places where they've got their pie, half pepperoni, half cheese with a line of black olives that go across the middle and make a circle. So your pizza is a Pokeball. I've seen donuts, half red glaze, half white glaze with a black icing around it, right? People catching on. But what intrigued me more is, like bars and pizza establishments who, I think there was a quote, this guy, he said, I can't believe in my expense report, I actually have to put Pokemon expenses on my balance sheet. And he pays, you pay whatever to get a lure for 30 minutes, and then hopefully people come to your Pokestop and, and while you're here, oh man, you know what? I could use a slice of pizza. That's great. Yeah. You're running a Pokemon deal. Sure. I'll be catching my Magmar and eating some, steak and French fry pizza or whatever. Oh, that's great. So I looked. So Damien actually was in New York City this last week, and so those of you who are in New York know, if you're in a big metropolitan area and these Pokestops are all over the place, like it is obscene how many Pokestops there are. And he took a snapshot of his view. Every one of them had a lure going. I mean, it looked like the 4th of July with all the fireworks blasting off these Pokestops. Because there's just so many businesses are trying to capitalize on this. So yeah, that's pretty darn awesome. He also mentions is why can't Pokemon Go have achievements? Like, I agree. We want achievements for this. Catching certain amounts, catching different types. I mean, they got badges in there. Just give me Gamerscore for that. And he wants there to be a Z to Z team. He thinks that Team Yellow should be Z to Z. And so I've joined Yellow. Big L has joined Yellow. No reason we picked that just other than Damien said so. So if you want to join up with yellow, you're more than welcome. We can all be yellow together. Otherwise, you got your options. Blue and red are fine too. I hear a lot of people pushing blue. There's a gym next to me that's all blue. What about you, Doughboy? What do you? Where do you stand?
Yeah, I jumped on Team Blue. A lot of the Extra Life crew were on blue, so we all kind of went that direction. And as a notice, if you guys are playing it and there's no gyms near you or they're kind of out of the way, there is a spot on Nintendo's or Niantic's website to actually request a gym to be put somewhere near you. And a lot of businesses, like you said, are very interested in this. The way that they're picking the gyms is obviously you've got the churches or the Pokestops. You've got actual gyms that are Pokestops as well. You've got popular statues or just out of the way things. So if you're a business or you have an area around you that has something that's just kind of out of the ordinary, they're more interested in that type of setup for a Poke Gym or a Pokestop. So with that, then you can actually you can request it on the website, give them some pictures of the area, and they'll look into it.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I mentioned on the previous show that my walkway, they've got these weird statues, and people have used each one of those, and it's like they're just dumb statues. But to Niantic, they don't know. Mm-hmm. And even there's a park by my house that my kids go hiking at all the time, and they used to have a large frog made out of recycled materials. I mean, this thing was like 20 feet tall, 30 feet wide, made out of like tires and old bikes. And I mean, it was this just giant sculpture of recycled materials that made a frog. And that is a Pokestop. That has not been at the park for 3 years. But they had all these archived photos, and they submitted those as like, hey, yeah, let's make this a Pokestop. And so sure enough, on your phone, you can see old pictures of what it was, but that thing has been gone for ages.
Yeah,
so,
I think they got a lot of those from Niantic made the game Ingress, which is available for Android. It wasn't available for iOS, so a lot of people that have iOS don't even know what that game is. But that was kind of where the format came from, and a lot of people were able to request back then big landmarks and such, and that's how a lot of them are moved into Pokegems.
Kind of grandfathered in.
Yep.
Fascinating. Our final comment from Twitter came from Salzbar. And he said, oh my gosh, I thought I pulled a Freem when my 20-day Roblox achievement didn't unlock. But it unlocked 60 seconds later. So don't panic. Roblox is super sketchy. But you can still kind of panic because it's super sketchy. Like there's a chance it'll still work, but there's a chance you got screwed somewhere. But when you're counting your days and you think you're at 20, let it ride a little bit. Maybe instead of just logging in, maybe just let it sit for a sec. Secondly, don't give up. If you don't get it on day 20, you just keep going, because you never know when you restarted, and you never know if your timing was off just a little bit, and it'll pop the next day or the next day. So don't give up on those, and don't pull a Freem. Those are the worst.
And 60 seconds can seem like a lifetime when you're trying to figure out what went wrong.
Absolutely.
While we're in listener feedback, since I didn't submit anything, I just wanted to mention the interview with Rand. I appreciated how we've talked about how he is able to talk with some of the Xbox up and ups and has brought them on his podcast, and also just in general gameplay and stuff. And he had mentioned when he was at E3 that they just go above and beyond for the community, and we do see that if you actually look at even their Twitter feeds or anything else. They talk to a lot of people. Doesn't matter if you've got one follower or a million followers, they're going to talk back to you. And his theory or thought was, when he had reached out to some of the Sony, that it wasn't as, and it's a good community that we're in, and I really do appreciate hearing that on this end. So just wanted to say that was something that was good to hear from the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. And, just to echo that sentiment too, with looking at their Twitter feed and stuff, like, I know, Phil likely has help going through his feed and things, but like you'll get responses to negative comments too. I mean, it's he likes it when you're positive and you've got fun, cool things to say about Xbox, and he also is quick to try and diffuse any sort of scenarios or tension or whatever. But yeah, you got it. You're right. It is a great community, and you've got a nice leadership team there that really does care about this product and want to see it succeed. So that's really great. We do have a few questions out there. We got one from McLovin Legend asked on my friend feed. I want to know when we could all play Big Rigs Trucking, because Crandy hasn't spoken about it for a while. Well, Crandy's not on the show. He's in the process of moving. He's leaving California, moving to New York, and he responded though on my Trello page here, and he said, "Life has gotten in the way of development. I will make it an alpha of the first level for listeners to try." So you'll get a chance. He'll give you a little taster, but not quite there yet. We'll when we get a release date. I mean, just like Crandy, constant delays. Development hell. Maybe he's trying to get bought out. I don't know, but we'll figure this thing out here. We did have our last comment here is from Lord Chubello on my friend feed, and he says, and there's a lot of conversation about this as well, because Achievement Fest is happening here in the near future. And he asks, is any of us going to Achievement Fest 2016? Or have you ever been? And he says, if both answers are no, how about having a guest talk about it? Well, we can probably pull in a guest, because I know Griffey's been. And it's in Indiana, right? And they all get together and have like this just obscene weekend where they essentially lock down it's like a comic book store, isn't there? A gaming store. And I mean, there's just gaming equipment and consoles and PCs, and they're just all over the place. And you just stay up for 2-3 days and unlock as many achievements as you can. A lot of these groups, they apply for records. So, if you coordinate with a bunch of people that are going, you can, get Guinness on board and try to go for a record, get the cameras all set up, or you can just go have fun, see a bunch of like-minded people who enjoy achievements. So yeah, you guys ever been interested in going? Does it do anything for you? I suppose if it was local, it would be easier.
If it was one up in Canada, I'd definitely go. But yeah, it's already, well, I don't know. It says it starts today, and I found it odd that Griffey was not playing ESO today. I was like, are you done with ESO? What's going on? Because he's been playing that for like the past 6 months or so.
Right.
And he was unlocking achievements in other games. Like, what's going on? He's like, I can't really play ESO at Achievement Fest. So he's already there unlocking achievements. So.
That's awesome. It's a nice crew. Of course, you can get their website, achievementfest.com, all one word. They've got, so as of now, they're talking about the 2016 event and where it is, and it's trying to see if there's any pictures on here or whatever. But it's this weekend, yeah, July 15th to 17th. And you've got, so yeah, everything's starting right now. It'll be fun. Maybe we'll get some people on when it closes out and, see what we have for, pictures or event recap. You got to imagine there's got to be some streaming options and stuff here, but it all, takes place in Terre Haute, Indiana. All right, with listener feedback wrapped up, we will move right into news proper. And we actually talked about this first item already about Overwatch adding Ana, the healer sniper. Well, they also are implementing some rules in competitive multiplayer where you can only have one hero per team. So, like, you can't have the same dude, right? You can't have an army of Reinhardts. Not that you necessarily would want that, but so there's only
Torbjorn's is the reason.
Torgen, yeah, he's the OP guy now, isn't he?
Well, it's just he builds turrets and they automatically attack everyone, and it's like it can do a 360 in 0.5 seconds. So
that's pretty darn quick.
But like they've been talking about nerfing his damage on Xbox, And on PC, they're not even changing him. So that is something that extremely surprised me, that they're doing like changes, like balance changes to console only. Because on console, he had something like 15% win rate above any other hero. Just
Wow.
because like you can do a 360 in half a second on a PC. You can't on Xbox. Even if you put sensitivity up all the way, I mean, it's always trickier on a console.
Yeah, for sure. That's interesting that they're not having the changes across the board.
No, because on PC they're not having that problem. The people who are using Torbjorns are not winning 10, 15% more of the time than
Is it
any other
because the
hero.
mouse is so much more sensitive? Like you can actually target better, where the turret targeting is so much faster than using an analog stick?
Well, there's the targeting, and like I said, like doing a 360. I mean, like if you're turning around a corner and it's like 80, like shooting you in the back, you can do 180 like in like a fraction compared to like on Xbox. It's slower.
Right.
I assume that's what it is, but on PC they're not having that issue where he has that obscenely high win rate.
That's interesting. Cool. We had a corporate buyout this week. So Leiyu is I don't know. You guys familiar with Leiyu? They are a chicken manufacturer out in China.
Oh.
Yeah, they deal primarily in poultry. According to Eurogamer, they have had a consideration extended to splash damage. They've said it's not going to be more than $150 million, but they are acquiring splash damage mostly for their like online and development stuff. Ultimately, this is what they said. They want to diversify their business. He says, I'll read the Eurogamer's quote here. Leiyu said it's hoping to diversify its business as a result of its poultry efforts, facing an arduous task in light of expenses related to feed production, slaughtering, and other things. The video game market is growing, on the other hand, and that is why Leiyu wants in. So they're supplementing their poultry income with video games. The global market for video games has continued to experience a healthy growth despite a slowing world economy. And this actually is not the second video game company they've bought. They actually bought Canadian developer Digital Extremes, the makers of Warframe. At that time, they were known as Sumpo, but now they're Leiyu. According to them, this helps kind of balance out their earnings sheet. That the chicken business is a little too volatile. And so they want to have nice, steady profitability with their video games. According to their year-end statement of 2015, 80% of their revenue came from chicken, but 70% of the gross profit was generated out of video games. So, they make a ton of money doing chicken, but the margins are so slim because they got bad chicken, you got disease, you got so much to go into feeding them and killing them. Whereas 70% of your profit comes out of video games because, you might have some duds out there, but your overhead is much, much lower compared to chicken. For those of you not familiar with splash damage, they're the team that has done Brink, Dirty Bomb, and Gears of War Ultimate Edition. They also did the multiplayer stuff in Batman Arkham Origins and have done work on the upcoming Gears of War 4. I assume multiplayer stuff. So, no slouch, that's for sure. But the chicken cartel, the chicken group out in China now has a new games company, and I don't know if they're going to do anything as far as changing structure, but my guess is they just wanted the income. Pretty ridiculous. Man, okay, this game release, and I posted this into our Skype chat earlier this week, Nighty, and I think you and I were both excited about this. A new game announcement called Brawlout. All right, you can go and check out their trailer at brawlout.com. okay, this is effectively Smash Brothers. And it's coming to the Xbox One. Looks like a limited collection of characters, but it is that 2D, very cartoony. You know, you've got your up attack, which is some sort of like saving attack from falling off the edge. You've got very colorful, very fun. My favorite character was there is a 4-armed frog with a luchador mask on. He looks like he kind of looks like Machamp or like Goro, but he's a frog. And his save move is he can use his tongue to like grapple to the edge and pull himself up. Nighty, you had a different guy that you thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, the guy with the whip. I don't.
Was he? I think he was the monkey.
Yeah, I think so too. He had like a whip, so he had like.
He kind of looked like Indiana Jones.
It felt like he had like a longer range too. So.
Yeah.
But I read somewhere that this was like a platform where people could. I don't know.
Like
they could make their own characters and then import it. But that would be pretty neat. Like if this gets popular, like Super Smash is, like there's like no one else in that genre like trying to make a copy of it, and I'm surprised because Super Smash is extremely, extremely popular.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, and I love playing Smash Brothers. It's so much fun, and they use the percentage based. The higher the percentage, the further you're going to go per attack, that kind of thing. I mean, it's just ripping off Smash Brothers, but I'm totally okay with that because I can't play Smash Brothers on my Xbox. Those of you who are looking for a quick fix now, Rivals of Aether just came out. That is effectively the same game. Now it is sprite based, and so the graphics are significantly downgraded. But again, Smash Brothers clone, and that's out on the marketplace right this minute. Brawlout is not slated for release until, I thought it said 2017. Am I recalling that correctly?
I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, but it's been announced. Release trailers out there. Oh, and the other thing too, up to 8 people can play locally and stuff. I know the Wii version you can do that as well, but
so it's coming early 2017.
Early 2017. So there it is. I am super pumped for that. So they've announced 5 characters. There's some sort of like eagle-looking dude. There's some sort of, I don't even know what she is. A walrus, the frog dude, and the monkey. And then they have 3 black silhouettes of announcements that I'm assuming will be coming out later. I mean, I'm pumped for this game.
She's some sort of cat or monkey as well, because she's got a tail attack of some form.
Oh yeah, her feet kind of look like maybe she's like a puma.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does have feline qualities. Dave, do you like these kind of games? You play Smash Brothers?
This is the first time I'm seeing it, and it's making me smile. It actually does look really cool to check this out. I'm going to have to go with the walrus just because he's got a partner that he works with there, some form of sidekick with him, and how he's going to use that sidekick could work, yeah.
Well, have you seen in the gameplay, he actually throws that at the dude, and the penguin pecks at the guy and then comes back like a boomerang.
Yeah, and it looks like he also freezes with him too. He blows out some form of ice.
Yeah.
Yeah, he builds a ledge on the end of the map, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, that was a cool ability too. Yeah, he extended the platform with an ice bridge so he could go out there and then lay a big haymaker punch. There's another character on here, so on their intro screen that's not listed as a silhouette, but it's kind of looks like a porcupine. Or maybe like a Wolverine or whatever. He reminds me of Blanca, only not. If you take the green with red hair and switch it with purple body and like yellow hair, but he kind of has that feral Blanca look to him. I don't know. This just looks like it perfectly fits that Mario. Now, of course, you don't get the nostalgia of the classic characters, and or if Microsoft did it, you wouldn't get Microsoft IPs. But I'm okay with that. I just because these can be new characters, they can be fun. The colors are vibrant. if you haven't had a chance, take a look at the show notes. Take a look at this game, Brawlout. I am so pumped for this. I think that's my favorite news story of the week, knowing that this thing exists.
Yeah, and it looks like the Angry Mob Games, the people that are making it have not. This is their first console game. Everything else has been on the iPhone and Android. So
it looks great.
Yeah, I agree.
It does look great. All right, let's get into some more gaming business stuff. This is kind of fun news. I got this from Engadget. So we'd always talked about NPD numbers. Typically we don't focus our show on that much, but if you listen to other podcasts, a lot of them like to pull out the NPDs. Who won last month with console? Who won last month with retail games? And of course, GTA 5 is always on the list. Your Maddens, any games that have a physical copy that are released on multiple platforms, always at the top of the list. And the glaring omission was always, where are the digital video game sales? And this would have been a great topic for Spanky to be a part of, because I think his wife works for the NPD group. And but anyway, NPD now has reached out, and they have gotten the several publishers to agree to publishing their digital sales data. So the publishers so far: Activision, Capcom, Deep Silver, Electronic Arts, Square Enix, Take-Two Interactive, and Warner Brothers Interactive. All of those publishers have said that they will disclose their digital sales numbers to help inflate their NPD standing. The Engadget article says big gaps in Bethesda, Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony. They have not signed on to do this. Of course, Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony, that doesn't surprise me at all, right? They're the consoles, and they probably want to keep their exclusive content a little closer to the vest, right? How well did our personal stuff sell? Because that leads into how many consoles are out there. If Microsoft is like, well, this is how much of Killer Instinct we sold, well, that directly correlates to the number of Windows 10 devices and Xbox consoles. Or Uncharted, how many Uncharted we sell? Well, that directly ties into how many consoles are out there. Bethesda's the weird one, though. I don't know why they wouldn't include those numbers. Like, what's Bethesda's angle? And maybe they will down the road. I don't know. It's entirely possible. But what they will say is, so for this, it's going to track everything. It's going to track, as far as money is concerned, it's going to track the full game purchase. It's going to track add-on packs, microtransactions. Now, those numbers we're not going to see as public. They're not going to give them to the press. Those will be like a special developer in tier. Likely what kind of encouraged them to be a part of this program is like, hey, we can track your sales numbers and provide you a better snapshot if you're kind of the inner circle with us. What I do think is interesting is they are going to put all the lists together. So you will be presented with a combined list. However, they'll have like a little asterisk or a denotation of sorts to say, this value includes digital sales or something, just so you have some sort of frame of reference of like, oh, this is physical only, and it, kick the butt out of whoever is a mix of physical and digital. But it'll be nice to see, games like Unravel, right? Well, that was almost, I think that was exclusively digital. It'd be interesting to see where that popped up and how well that performed for EA during its launch, and other games that, because that's kind of the medium now. I mean, most people, they're eschewing making a physical copy, much to Randy's chagrin, just because it's expensive. You don't want inventory. Even making a minimum sized run of discs, it's kind of a big overhead for a company that just doesn't really need to add it, especially for an independent developer. Dave, you got any comments on this? Do you typically follow the NPD numbers? Does it do anything for you?
I just think it would be interesting to see where these things actually rank. We see a lot of numbers that come out from time to time, and you don't know how they're doing because digital is so big at this point. I've got a total of 3 physical copies of games, and I don't have a small library at all. So, I mean, it's just wondering where these things actually rank. It'll start to show as far as Microsoft versus Sony versus Nintendo. Nintendo's numbers maybe aren't horrible once you start adding in a lot of the digital content that they put out there.
Right.
They've got the virtual console and things like that. And Sony might not be beating Microsoft as much as they think they are in that aspect. But I mean, it's a numbers thing. It's important to a lot of people, but overall, we're gaming. We want the game. We don't care what the actual number is. So
yeah, absolutely. And Nighty, you've moved almost exclusively digital, right? Do you even have any physical games left?
Physical is only 360, but yeah, Xbox One, I have 0 physical copies.
Yeah, so you've moved in, and I'm pretty much the same.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand if they could have just gone to Microsoft and asked them, like, if NPD could have gotten Microsoft, how much of, like, every game they sold on their Xbox Live store, if they would have to go through Ubisoft and stuff. Because technically everything's on Microsoft, right?
Yeah, no, that's
They're
true.
just getting the okay from Activision and EA and whatnot, so that's always good, I guess. But, like, ultimately, Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo could have given them, like, the okay to, these are what we sold on our consoles. And
yeah, I wonder if there's, agreements in
part.
place to not disclose that information, and so the individual, but that's likely why Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo aren't participating. Is we already have all that. We know the digital sales numbers because they come through our marketplace. I know how many Ori and the Blind Forests were sold through Xbox Live. I know how many Angry Birds games are sold through Xbox Live. So I don't need your NPD numbers because that's just taking all of our private information and publicizing it to multiple other people.
Right.
So I don't think you will see them on board at all. It's the Bethesda one that's weird. And I didn't say Ubisoft on there. Did I? No, I didn't say Ubisoft. So what speaking of omissions, which side of the fence are they on?
Maybe they just haven't been contacted or gotten the proper pitch to them, I guess.
It's possible. It's entirely possible.
I think one of the other hard things that might be, as far as visually seeing where these things rank, is also the fact that there are a lot of people getting free copies. They're literally just popping in a code and unlocking the game. It's not an actual sale. So are they going to put that into the figure as well between review copies or just ones that they're giving away for giveaways, things like that? Or is it literally just things that are sold? What's our dollar amount that we're getting in?
It's a good point.
Usually for a code, you need somebody to having it bought somewhere, right?
Not if it's a review copy. If you're doing a review copy from the developer themselves, they have codes that they can just hand out. And they're just pre-programmed or they can program them on the fly depending on what the manufacturer is. They can get the code out to you instantaneously. So that's something that they're not necessarily buying. They're obviously marking it off in inventory or something, on that side, but that's not too important to us. It'd be more or less, what they're actually putting out there.
Well, here's a scenario for you. Now that it's the 15th of the month, Games with Gold floats over, and we get a brand new Xbox game in Tumblestone, right? This game is launching for free. How are you going to track that, right? Everybody who has Xbox Live Gold can just pick up this new game for free. And yeah, that's not going to show up on NPD as a dollar figure. Of course, they were compensated for that, right? They get paid per download. But it's not going to translate into NPD numbers. So, I mean, that's another example of kind of where the system falls apart.
Yeah, and they could also, as far as we heard last week, not everybody is grabbing those games with gold, which makes, once again, absolutely no sense. But
boggles the mind.
Yeah, the people that aren't grabbing it, does that make it look really bad that, oh, Microsoft only has that many that were actually picked up this month? Does that mean they only have that many subscribers?
Right.
And that's not a true number to anybody. So I think that's some of the things that they worry about, that they're not saying, yes, release these numbers. But on the flip side, we do want to know where these guys rank to a point. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes out.
For sure.
I mean, it'll just be more fuel for the console wars, ultimately.
Gotta hate the console wars.
But that's what it's gonna do. Like, games are games.
Oh, it
like,
absolutely
you play your
does.
games, you enjoy them, but getting those numbers are just putting fuel in the fire.
Oh, I mean, even the Engadget article, literally their closing sentence is like, hey, so all you folks at NeoGAF, get ready. You guys get to go nuts over how much Sony's beating Microsoft or whatever. Yeah, it's just gross. There's no good transition to this, so I'm just going to come out and say it. So Telltale, they've released more information on Batman, their Telltale series with Batman, Bruce Wayne, etc. That is, I think episode 1 comes out in August, and there's a physical disc version coming out in September. They'll likely do what they did with Minecraft, where that physical copy is literally the season pass, and you just get the episodes when they come out. I highly doubt that they'll have all 5-6 episodes or however many they're doing out. But on their Twitter feed, they have been posting some very peculiar tweets. I can't even really explain what I'm looking at, because it's... So they've got a mix. They've got WAV files and they've got images or videos, essentially a Vine. Okay? Literally with nothing else on it. It is a pixelated smiley face on a computer. It kind of looks like if you had it on your Pip-Boy, that type of image, right? The neon green. And if you click on these videos, there's just some weird computerized language about joining this critter or whatever it is. I don't even know. They've got links with different WAV files and stuff on here. Weird looking faces. I don't know. Let's see. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's so bizarre.
People in the comments are asking, is this Minecraft? Because it's like blocky, kind of like Minecraft. The video. I don't know, seems weird.
It's so weird. So I don't know. They're announcing something. Maybe it's an extension to the Minecraft story mode. It could be something totally new. Who knows? But if you're curious, go to Telltale's Twitter feed. It's all there in the history. I'm sure you can track back and find all of them. Likely by the time this comes out, we will have an understanding of what's going on.
We have a date, though.
There is a date. When?
Yeah, on their Twitter page now.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, 13th of September.
I thought that was interesting. But is that launch day, or is that? I think it's not going to be like.
Well, I assume.
Oh, that's the Batman one.
Yeah.
That's the Batman physical copy. I don't think this is related to Batman.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I said, maybe we'll see something at San Diego Comic-Con. That's coming up next week. Maybe we'll see something at Gamescom. We'll get more information. I mean, Telltale has, my gosh, they're running so many different projects. So, who knows what they're running? It could be any number of things. But speaking of Gamescom, Microsoft is officially not going to have a press conference. They've made the announcement. They'll have representatives there. Of course, they'll have a presence there, but they are not going to be, having a big showcase event talking about things. They, of course, going to have playable versions of some type of, well, a lot of things you saw at E3, and Rand Althor got to play. Gears of War 4, Forza 3, Halo Wars 2, ReCore, Sea of Thieves, We Happy Few, Cuphead, all that stuff is going to be there. Going to be able to take a look at it, and I'm sure there will still be announcements. They're really focused on rolling out this Play Anywhere campaign, and so how probably a lot of details on how that's going to work. If you buy one copy, do you get it on both no matter what? Is it the same game on both? Are the accounts linked? Those just types of questions will probably get cleared up. But yeah, so, and I think, of course, you're going to have gaming personalities there, people covering the event. Microsoft's not going to have its own personal little thing. Do you think that means anything? Do you think it's foreboding at all? What do you think, Nighty?
About them not being there?
Yeah.
I don't know. Sony's not going to be there either, so.
No, and Sony skipped it last year too. They went and did more of an event at the Tokyo Game Show. But what do you read into this, Dave?
I think it's pretty much there's just so many conferences and things to go to that they're picking and choosing which ones to do, just because they're so close together.
Yeah.
And like you said, everyone else has seemed to pick and choose. Nintendo has kind of dropped off of doing anything at this point. They're doing their own personal streaming thing. Sony's not attending. So, yeah, I think it's just kind of picking and choosing.
Yeah. And I think the other thing in the back of their head is that by presenting themselves in a media scenario like that, they're opening themselves up for questions on Scorpio. And it's like, we made the announcement. We're not really ready to talk about it, though. Like, we wanted to just let developers know it exists. This is the specs that we're targeting. Start developing games. We'll lock down the specifics internally and then present it probably next year, probably next E3, maybe even before, maybe at the Microsoft event, in early spring. But, my guess is they're just like, look, we wanted the announcement. We wanted to beat Sony to getting our information in front of people, but we're not really ready to come out and say, hey, and this is what it looks like, and this, Project Scorpio is now called Xbox or X-Boy, right? The X turns into a Y. I don't know. Whatever branding they're going to have to end up going with, some type of Xbox name. I know Randy wants Xbox One 2. Something tells me that's not going to be it. Do you guys have any names that you want Scorpio to be?
No clue.
No, you can't come up with a clever marketing name. This is your chance, Nighty, when Microsoft hears this show, because of course they listen. Huge fans of the show. Thanks for listening, Microsoft fans or Microsoft employees. But the Nighty wants a job in your marketing department. And so this is his pitch. This is his great idea for name. So Project Scorpio will now be called
Project Scorpion. Xbox Scorpion. There it is.
Xbox Scorpion.
I don't know.
Dave, you got something? I gave you a little extra time.
You did give me a little extra time. No, I think I could see them kind of just going with Xbox, or the Xbox, to make it different than the original or something.
I kind of think so,
they're trying to do something with, Windows 10, making it like the final Windows supposedly or whatever, and all the Xbox gaming became Xbox, and all of the music channels went from Xbox to Windows, or they kind of changed things that way. They're looking for the branding.
Oh my gosh, they're not going to call it Xbox 10, are they?
We don't know what OS it's running yet, so supposedly not going to be different, but time will tell.
Oh my! If it was Xbox 10, that's like Battlefield 1.
Mm-hmm. Who's numbering these things?
Right? I don't need a count. Xbox 10, bam. Or Xbox X and it's Roman numeral 10. Oh, that'd be terrible. Don't do that. That's not my pitch, marketing team. I can come up with something better. Anyway, so there you have it. No formalized press conference. Not that matters really anything. I still think there'll be some announcements. Certainly, other developers. Telltale's gonna do something, right? This weird computer thing. They got something like Gamescom, I'm sure. It'll just be a good fun time to get your hands on some more trailers, more videos, more gameplay stuff. If those games that you're excited about that are coming out in late 2016, early 2017, you will likely get some more things to see. You probably won't see any more of a demo build, right? Probably not enough time to get those up and going, but there you have it. The final thing I want to talk about in news, I'm bringing back an old feature, the Destiny Dish. Bungie has posted on their forums, their help forums, some more information about what is going on with Moments of Triumph. I had mentioned it on a previous show about the new Moments of Triumph for year 2. And they have kind of a FAQ on what's going on with legacy consoles. And so there's a ton of information here. I'm not going to go through all of that nonsense. But what I did want to make a note of is there's a specific little section here that says, please note. I'm going to read that. It says, once a Destiny account has been upgraded from legacy consoles to PlayStation 4 or Xbox One after 2 a.m. on August 16th, progress will no longer be shared between console generations. Progress made toward Year 2 Moments of Triumph record book on PS4 or Xbox One, as well as in-game rewards received, will not be reflected on legacy consoles and must be earned separately. Additionally, the account import process can only be performed once per account. Players should be sure they are ready to upgrade from a legacy console to the PS4 or Xbox One before performing the account import process. So as of now, they're connected. They can kind of go back and forth and whatnot. In August 16th, you will have one opportunity, if you played it on the 360, to bring everything up to the current generation. My guess is that also then applies for going backwards, where, like I said, they're currently linked now. Exporting your Xbox One version is likely not going to work on the legacy console. So if you have visions like I do, and I gotta finish Destiny and try to figure this thing out before August 16th, but that is your time frame. I do not think this is going to be any earlier or any later. I think August 16th is going to be it. Bungie's going to hold firm, and that'll be the time frame for your legacy console stuff. But don't miss out on those achievements with whatever current progress you have on your character. That would be a shame. So, and if you're interested, I will put the link for Bungie, Bungie.net, their little, troubleshooting page, their frequently asked questions page, if you're looking for more information on Moments of Light and all the transition stuff. But I thought that was important for our group because, especially since I have every intention of capitalizing on that free gamer score. All right, so, before we move on to the rest, was there any news items or anything you guys wanted to touch on quick? Anything that came up that sparked your interest?
Yeah, actually, I have one story here about the Gears of War 4 limited edition 2 terabyte bundle. It's the Xbox One S that they're put out. It's custom designed, got the red color to it. And
I saw this on Twitter.
Gear logo on it. Looks like they are... They just released the price this week, and they are going to be, of course, I just moved my mouse, I'm sorry, $449 is for the 2 terabyte price of the Xbox One S Gears of War 4 limited edition. And
so that's what, $50 more for the custom look? Is that what I'm understanding, or $60 more?
Yes, and it does come with the Gears of War 4 game as well.
So that's kind of what you're buying then.
Yeah,
right?
The ultimate edition of the game. So you are getting it. It's the $99 one, which has the cross-play support, co-op modes, all that stuff for the Xbox One and Windows 10, because obviously that's what they're doing with that guy. And also the season pass is included with it. So
wow, actually that's a great deal then, because isn't the 2 terabyte going to sell for $400 straight up?
I guess you're right. It is. Yeah, it's $399. Yes.
Yeah. So you can buy the normal with, and that does not come with a game or does it? I don't know if that has a. I'm sure all the bundles are going to have a game.
Yeah, I haven't seen them actually for sale or put one out there yet. But
yeah, you're right. I haven't either. What the normal S is going to be, but if you're getting, so you're paying $60, right, for that bonus game, but you're getting the extra content and the custom paint job.
Right. And then they are going to have the custom controller with it as well. It has the crimson color to it, Gears of War logo on it as well. And then they do have a separate controller that can be purchased if you don't need another console. You can just get the Crimson Omen or JD Phoenix limited edition controller is going to be $74.99, and that'll be out in September.
You can also get the Elite Gears of War controller.
Yes, which is even more.
Yeah, they all look so cool. Yeah, I would never buy one, but man, I want one. 'Cause I'm just too frugal. So if I'm gonna buy a Xbox One S, I'm gonna get the cheapest one I can find. I get the best deal, the best bundle, whatever. And I'm certainly not gonna buy it right away.
But you got an external, right?
Yeah. I don't need the hard drive space. I just want this. I want the smaller size. And I want that power brick right now. It gets so hot in my cabinet. That power brick does not ventilate well. And so it'd be nice to. I'm very curious about how the heating on the One S is going to be. I'm nervous, but suffice it to say, it'll just take up so much less space, and the space isn't a big deal, but I think it's that overheating. I have to have the door open all the time to make sure there's some decent airflow. Of course, the red console itself doesn't fit with my decor, so the wife would not be happy about it. But it looks really cool. Is there a bundle out there that you guys would really want? I would do a State of Decay bundle. I think if they had a cool State of Decay custom job, I might be tempted to buy one.
I'd buy one if it was South Park. Yeah, just fan of the show, fan of the games. Already been pre-ordered and everything. So
already, huh? Man, shut up and take my money.
As soon as the announcement was done, I was on the pre-order button, and I was too quick because I had to wait for the entire conference to complete. To be done
goodness.
With. And I was like, I want to buy this. And
let me buy it now.
Yeah, take my money.
That's crazy. Why would you do that? They're not going to run out. Might as well hang on to your money.
I could say there was the extra incentive to stack the first one, South Park Stick of Truth. But right. I did buy it, and I didn't even know I was going to get that with it. So
that was just a happy accident.
Yeah, I was like, oh, really? And I had just installed my my 360 because it was backwards compatible. I had just finished installing it on my Xbox One. I was ready to restart it and actually go back and replay it entirely to get the completion on it.
Nice.
But nay. It's a stack now, so I'll just get one completed and one not. So
right,
I'll be happy with that.
What about What about you, Dave? You got a custom bundle that you would like?
Actually, I am kind of questioning this one just because I am a fan of the franchise. This is one that I grabbed the game day one pretty much anyway, so it is one that I was looking into for seeing. The only thing is, but like we said, with the Xbox One S, and then we're getting the Scorpio shortly after that. It's kind of hard to jump on this at the moment.
Yeah, agreed.
I think if it was a 500 gigabyte instead of 2 tera, and you could save money that way, it would be better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at this point, the 2 terabyte isn't really convincing to somebody that doesn't know what they're getting into as far as digital is concerned and the amount that they get with even just the games with gold. You're going to need an external. The 2 terabyte's not going to cut it for long. It fills up rather quickly. So going and getting a 500, a lot of people were frowning upon it, but I think that's probably the better option for just to save the money and then to go ahead and get your own external on top of that.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome.
And then additionally, the other announcement that I saw about the Gears of War 4 special edition items that they're putting out there, they've teamed up with Loot Crate. I mentioned them earlier in the podcast. Not a paid spokesperson, I swear. I just saw that they had a Gears of War 4 Loot Crate edition. So what it's going to be is they have a bundle that they're putting together with a bunch of things that you won't know what's in there, obviously. But they are guaranteeing that it will have a 7-inch Lancer replica. So it's going to be one that they're going to put a lot of detail into that you'll be able to display. And they have an option with a digital copy of the game and an option without the digital copy of the game. It looks pretty cool. They do have an early bird bonus that if you order it before next week, or I guess when this drops this week, July 25th, you'll get a 2-inch Gold Lancer pin as a pre-order bonus. And they're saying that it'll ship by the 11th of October, but they're not really saying that the entire crate will. I still haven't figured out when the crate's shipping. It's just promising that the game itself will ship before then. So,
sure.
But the pricing on the crate itself is $74.99, which is kind of high, unless once again it's a franchise that you've been following and you really do love. It might be something that some interesting stuff that you'll get in there that you will not see sold anywhere else. So
yeah, I mean, if you're paying $60 for the game. And of course now pre-orders, right? Most companies will give you 20% or $10 off or whatever. But suffice to say, if you're going to pay $60, you're getting $15 for that those extra Gears of War tchotchkes. That's
actually what I thought initially, but no, it's $74.99 just for the crate.
Oh, and then you have to buy the game on top of it.
If you want it, the crate and the digital code, then it's $129.99. So you get a $5 discount on the game itself.
Oh man, bummer. Okay, now it's a value proposition,
right?
7 inches, huh? I mean, that's a decent sized replica, but it's still small, right? It's not a full size Lancer. Yeah, that's a tough one. But yeah, I like those kind of specialty loot crates that they have. Like they've done some really cool promotions in the past.
Am I mistaken that they actually did one for Halo at one point?
To be honest, I don't remember. I remember there were a few.
I'm gonna say I think that yes, it looks like they did, and I'm sure we can pull up and see what was in there to see if it's worth it. But that might be somewhere to look to see if it's something that you might be interested in.
But don't you get overwhelmed with stuff you'll never use? Or
I enjoy it just because I don't go out and buy those things randomly, and when I do get some things, they're kind of neat. Whatever I don't use, I'm in such a big gaming community. Some of you know I belong to Extra Life, and a lot of my stuff goes to giveaways for Extra Life donators. So that's where a lot of my stuff goes. So if I'm going to spend about $30 a month, get 1 or 2 things that I really like, and then have a bunch of giveaways to give away that might help raise money for the cause, then I that's why I do it. But I've been keeping a lot of it myself. There's a lot of cool things that are coming out of the boxes that I get.
Yeah, we should talk about Extra Life because that's an awesome organization and an awesome charity. That man, how many years has that been going on now? That
was started in 2008.
Yeah, so it's quite the run. So this year it's November. Would you say 2nd?
November 5th.
November 5th is the day. When the idea is to play 24 hours.
November 5th, they typically say that's the national day. So you're definitely able to do it any other time of the year. It's a 24-hour gaming marathon that raises money for the Children's Miracle Network hospitals, specifically the hospital of your choice. So whichever hospital is closest to you or whichever hospital might have meaning to you or your family members or something, you can basically choose to raise money for them. You have people sponsor you to play those hours that you're going to play. I have a few friends that can't do it this year on the national day, so they are doing it, maybe a couple 6-hour shifts throughout the year. They're streaming and raising money during those times. And there's people that are going above and beyond the 24 hours as well. But typically, the national day is November 5th. You wake up at 8 a.m. on that day for in your area, and you play until 8 a.m. the next day. This year is when the clocks change, so instead of 24 hours, it is 25 hours, which happened 2 years ago. Right. And seeing that roll back is not fun in the middle of the night, but But no, it's a great experience. I've been doing it for 5 years now. Basically got into the guilds in the area. We've got the Philadelphia Guild right here for the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. So I've been to a lot of conventions where we have tables set up and basically get other people to join. So it's something that I've been doing for the past 5 years. My personal story is that my children were both born with a metabolic disorder, and that metabolic disorder basically makes them have to go to Children's Hospital of Philadelphia quite frequently. And a lot of times it's just for standard visits, but there are times where we do have to spend nights there, hooked up to IVs and things like that, unfortunately. But it's one of those places that the people that are there are just perfect for that job. I mean, they love what they do. They're great with the kids. They keep them very happy. They keep the family happy when there's downtime and the kids are sleeping. They can have you go up to, they've got a public library to grab books out of. They've got movies to watch. They've got video game systems. So the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, specifically, all the money that's raised through 100% of whatever we raise goes directly to the hospital, and they use it for the program there that gives the movies and the video games and things to keep the kids entertained while they're there. So it's been a great cause, and I joined it the first year just thinking I wanted to kind of get the word out. I didn't really raise too much money. After that, I've just been kind of going gung ho with the organization and absolutely doing outreaches and things like that for it. So last year, the community raised $8.3 million for all the Children's Miracle Network hospitals between the U.S. and Canada. That's double what they raised the year before, and the year before was double what they raised the previous. So who knows where we can get to this year as far as raising fundraising goes. But it's definitely something to look into.
Awesome. Is there do you have your website and stuff started up? Are you?
Yep. Mine is just extralife.com, extra-life.org/participant /Doughboyee. That's DOUGHBOYEE. And that pretty much allows you to kind of get some information about it. And then you can raise funds specifically through me, or there's a spot that you can actually sign up as well. If you don't want to raise for Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, like I said, I know I've got friends and family that do it for other hospitals in the area that they have more of a connection to. And it's great. It works out really well.
For sure. Yeah, we'll put that in the show notes. So if you want to, otherwise, you can find it other ways, but it'll be Doughboy's link in there. Yeah, you had a great stream last year, if I recall. You had a nice little event going.
Yeah, it was nice. Every year we pretty much have opened up our house. It's guaranteed to have a rock band session at some point. We pretty much will start posting on Facebook that all right, we're up and we're starting to go. And me and one other friend pretty much do the 24 hours together. And then we have friends and family members that drop in and out. We just leave our doors open and say, you want to come play a board game? You want to go out back and throw some horseshoes around? It's any type of gaming. It doesn't have to be video gaming. It can be tabletop. It can be outdoor things. There's a family that did a wiffle ball tournament during the daytime, and then at night came in and did some board games and things like that. So it's really fun. That's kind of the extra to it. The main thing is to raise money. And 2 years ago, I was able to go down to Extra Life United. It was the first year that they did it. It was held down in Walt Disney World in Florida at the convention center down there. They invited 52 of us to come down and compete, go head to head in a gaming tournament to basically whatever we won in the gaming tournament went to our prize pool to give to the hospitals. So I was able to go down there. The nice thing about it is that we thought it was just a gaming tournament that we were going down there for. When we got down there, it was an actual Children's Miracle Network event, and the event itself basically was to bring in 50 kids, one from each state, or 51 because they do DC separately as well. Bring those kids in, as well as I think it's 18 hospitals in Canada that they do. Bring them in as well, and they bring one from each state or province, and they issue them a medal and kind of make it all about them. So we got to meet the kids. We got to hear the stories about what they've been going through. I took my kids down with me with my wife, and we made it a family thing, and we got down there and we had them playing with them, and it was a really great experience. They skipped 2015 because of scheduling conflicts. They did one this year in 2016. I had my pass to go down because I ordered it as soon as I found out it was happening, and then life kind of got in the way, so I wasn't able to attend. However, my pass did get transferred. I had a friend who no longer lives in the area, came up and picked up one of his buddies that does live in the area. They both
cool.
went down, and I handed my pass over to him, and he wound up raising $17,000.
Wow.
He came in third place for the tournament. So the first year they used all PlayStation stuff equipment wise. This year they broke it up into a console tournament, a PC tournament, and a board game tournament. And all three tournaments basically had multiple games that you would play. First got a certain amount of money, second got a certain amount of money, third and fourth got different money. And then they kind of added all that money up and they ranked people towards the end, and then they had like a final playoff to see who would take home the grand prizes. He did the console. He placed first in Rocket League on Xbox. He placed second in Dance Central, or Just Dance, one of the two. And he also placed in Madden. So he got himself into the finals, and in the finals he wound up taking third place. So
That's awesome.
yeah, so I wasn't able to go, but my ticket went to good use. So we did raise some good funds for the Children's Hospital Philadelphia. So
That's great. And it's so cool that, as gamers and, we can actually give back and be, find a charity. And even if it's not Extra Life, but to give your time, to give an effort to pay it back to, all of the wonderful organizations out there for providing what they can to help kids. And I mean, video games are such an awesome outlet and an area of escapism. And, they go so far as to helping create a positive life experience and positive energy. And, those types of things are just so magical for, healing powers of being happy and smiling and knowing people are there supporting you and caring for you. And of course, then the monetary piece of it that goes to buy new equipment and fund research and all those types of things. It's really great. And so, yeah, I encourage everyone, if you even just to do just a little tiny thing to help out a local charity or Extra Life this year, boy, that would be really, really awesome.
yeah, there's definitely quite a few of them out there. The reason that I chose Extra Life, number one, was just because of the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. But secondarily, it was looking into the program and seeing what it was actually about. Extra Life itself was kind of an offset that one guy came up with the concept and kind of ran with it back in 2008. And it just became this big thing. It actually is under the umbrella of the Children's Miracle Network hospitals now. And with that umbrella, the benefit to that is that the Children's Miracle Network themselves take care of the website fees, the paperwork, all of the things that would usually be on the back end. So all of that is taken care of. So all the money that you raise 100% goes to the hospital of your choice. So there's no, pieces that are be taking for just paperwork and things like that. It's definitely important, but in this particular charity, they are able to do that. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. So that's kind of it for the show. We're gonna go into our finalized featured topics here. And of course, we have our Knobs and Discos, our section for unobtainable and discontinued achievements. We Need for Speed, the King for a Day achievement, is discontinued. I wish I had more information as to but why it was discontinued. It looks like the auto log is taken down for the game, and so EA is just that functionality is gone. They do not care. So this is for Need for Speed: The Run. It's a leaderboard posting achievement. So it's been officially discontinued on TrueAchievements.com. So sorry guys if that was on your list. We did have one backwards compatible game announced, and that is Interpol. Actually, that's the game that Handy Darkness says I should play on my PAL console. So it is now backwards compatible. I wonder if I can get that on my One now. Let's see if Terrigan has it digitally.
Is that a region only though?
I am not sure. It is It looks like a hidden puzzle game.
But I mean,
hidden object game. I know what you're saying. That it's only for the UK, or it's a PAL.
PAL exclusive, yeah.
PAL exclusive. But there's no regions anymore on the One. That's why I want it.
Exactly.
That's why I want, can I switch region to the UK, download it on my One, and then switch back to US and play it? That sounds like a question for Terrigan. So when you're listening to this, Terrigan, let me know. Let everybody know. We'll post it somewhere. Because it looks like fun to play. Hidden puzzle games are great.
Right, but for 200 gamer score, we're so spoiled right now.
We really are, right? You look at 200 and you're like, man, what am I doing with my time?
3 hours for 200? Gosh, I could start a new game and get 300 already in like an hour.
For sure. All right, and finally, zombie news. It's only a mention because I have yet to play it, but my copy of Dead of Winter: The Long Night, it is the follow-up game of Dead of Winter, has shown up at my door. I haven't opened the box yet, so I don't know all the cool stuff that's inside, and of course then it means I haven't played the game yet, but because of the 4th of July, my standing monthly board game night got canceled. So hopefully early August we can get my crew together. Maybe I can pull in a group earlier to do it. I am super pumped for this game. If you have not played the original Dead of Winter, I think I mentioned it on a previous show. It is so much fun. It is very much a team against the board type game. However, every game you play, there is a 50% chance one of you is a traitor who is actively trying to ruin the game for everybody, obviously without getting caught. And so everybody has their, group objective to accomplish, and then individually you have your own personal goal. And so you need to meet both criteria for you to win the game. And so it's tense. It is challenging. There are often games where, you cannot win, or you run into a scenario where it's just too difficult to get everything to fall in place. There's also games when you look at it and you're like, okay, if this roll is not a 6, we lose the game, and then it's a 6, and it's like, oh my god, everything falls into place. We are going to win. It's wonderfully stressful. Is probably the best way I can put it. Do you guys enjoy board games? Do you guys play any non-video game type things?
I've been looking into it. I really want to. Like, I enjoy playing Risk and chess and like the classics, but I've been contemplating buying something. There was one with the zombies, like Infection or something like that.
Yeah, there's like Zombicide. There's a few zombie ones floating around.
And no, so just cards, really, mostly cards.
Sure. What about you, Dave?
Yeah, I haven't really. The 2 and 4-year-old get me playing the classic ones, like you said, the really classic ones for the kids and stuff like that.
Trouble and Chutes and Ladders.
Yep, Guess Who and things like that. Yep. So no, that's pretty much our family game nights right now. Once they get older, I'll probably try to get some of those other ones in because I do want to branch into that world a little bit. There's a nice. It's relatively family oriented. Now your kids are too young. Even my kids are too young at 5 and 7. It's probably closer to like the 10, 12-year-old range. It makes more sense, but it's called Seven Wonders, and it's it's very approachable for a lot of different people. And the gameplay is, it happens real time, and so like everybody's playing a card at the same time, and yet they're still turn-based. And so like you all pick your card and then you play it, and you essentially are building an ancient civilization in front of you and accumulating victory points based on how you build your civilization. So, and there's different ways to do it. And there's so many expansions, it's crazy. But like the base game is, if you want to go a science route, you can make a ton of points by researching and coming up with science. Now, on then if you're focusing on science, you're not doing other things, right? You can focus on building structures and get victory points by creating aqueducts and temples and things like that. You can get victory points through combat. So if you want to have the biggest army and you want to just wail on your neighbors, you can get a ton of victory points doing that.
Anyway, there's just so many different ways to approach the game that you play these 3 ages, right, where you start your civilization out and you're looking for resources like wood or stone, paper, things like that. Then in the second age, you start to develop, a city center, a bazaar or temples or, studies, libraries. And then in the third stage, it gets really, the cards get complicated in terms of what you're building, but the game itself is not complicated. But you get stuff like, for every this type of resource you have, you get bonus victory points, or for every science thing your neighbor has, you get victory points, and you pass these cards all around, and it's so difficult to explain, and I'm sure I butchered it trying to explain it to you here, but when you sit down to actually play it, it is remarkably easy to pick up, and that's why it's great for young kids, because they can, it's all picture based, so you don't have to read anything, and it, because there's so many ways, it's like at the end of the game, games take like 30, 40 minutes. At the end of the game, you're counting up victory points, and it's like 64 to 70 to 72 to 67, right? They're all huge victory points, but nobody's separated far enough where it's like you don't know. I mean, the winner could still be very much a surprise. So yeah, it's called Seven Wonders. That's a fun game. We play that quite a bit, and then we also play a lot of Dominion. That one is significantly more challenging. And what's weird about it is it's not a game that you can't really explain to somebody how to play, because every game is different. Ultimately, you have cards in front of you, and each card has a specific text, and that's how the card plays out. And every time you have to read every card to determine how that fits into the specific game you're playing, because all the cards are random, right? You have 10 different piles, and there's, in the base game, I think 24 possibles, and then with every expansion you can get all the way up to like 60 some different versions. And so if you do every permutation possible, there are almost an infinite number of games that you could play, and it's different every time. So it's fascinating from a longevity standpoint, and it's very, very fun certainly from a strategy standpoint, and even just the actual gameplay of it. But I've been really really enjoying those types of board games as of late. I just wish I had more friends locally who would get in on it, or of course, we got our families and stuff. It makes life difficult, but Nighty, you got a family starting up here pretty soon, don't you?
Yeah, I have a kid on the way. The one I was referring to is called Pandemic.
Pandemic.
I've heard great things about that one. So
that is fun. That is again, players against the board. I got it for Christmas and played it for the first time a month ago, and it was awesome. That's also a relatively simple game. It's
I've heard
difficult
that you
to
will
win.
lose your first couple matches, for sure.
Yeah, you have to get, so there are different character classes that start. You have like 6 different character classes, and if you don't have like 1 or 2 of these specific character classes, life gets very, very difficult. But like, there's some special abilities that can make life easier, and if you have a good plan of attack or get lucky with where the infection goes, you could, like, we won our first game, and we were in pretty good shape. I mean, it still ended up coming down to the end where, like, we just missed it by like 2 or 3 cards, that it could have failed on us, but we had everything pretty much under control. But it's super fun. No, that game is great. That game is super great. So yeah, we just had all the little kids, so we got to wait till they all get older and have family game night and not just plop them in front of the Xbox, because that's my Xbox. Oh, that reminds me. I don't know what happened, but my one of my controllers, wireless controllers, I got a sticky X button. Oh my God, it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
I don't know how, like, which one of my kids was manhandling it with their, lollipop hands or something, but it's sticky. The button sticks down. I'm half tempted to try and break it open and clean it out, but I was trying to do it externally, not working. So I might be in the market for an Elite controller here real soon.
Well, Crandy's thoughts on cracking open these controllers compared to the 360s. So
Right? Yeah. It is what it is. Knight, do you have an Elite controller, right?
Yes, I use it mostly for Overwatch and Smite because, it's way better. But when I'm not gaming that, I just remove the triggers in the back, the paddles.
Yeah, the paddles.
And it's also nice having the trigger lock. So they only go halfway in, so it's just like if you have to, it's a press and not really doesn't really matter how far you go into it.
Sure,
it's pretty neat. What I would recommend you not doing is having that locked trigger while you're playing a racing game and wondering why you're losing every race.
I bet. Gotta flip that toggle. What about you, Dave? Elite controller?
Yeah, I actually won one from the Achievement House podcast when they were doing their Extra Life stream.
Oh, that's right. I remember hearing your name.
Yeah, so I do have one. I like the weight of it. I like the general feel. Like Nighty said, I do pull the paddles off of it quite frequently if I'm not using them specifically for those type of games. But yeah, I like the grip and I like the feel of them. I like to see how they compare to like the newer ones that they have as far as the grip is concerned. And if it has a different feel to it as well, or if it's still above and beyond what we're expected.
Awesome. Yeah, I had to get me one of them. They were just on sale recently, too. I wish I could justify spending $120 on it. But once I have a broken controller, then all bets are off. And I need a gaming controller.
I saw a message like recently they passed over 1 million sold, so they're doing pretty well with those controllers.
Million produced.
Yes, produced.
Not necessarily sold.
I bet.
Yeah, because the 1 millionth had a little 1 million screen print on there, right above the headphone jack.
Yeah.
So yeah, awesome. Well, hey guys, I think that's the show. Thank you guys for being a part of the podcast, helping out, and thank all of you listeners who gave us a shot, listened to the show. We hope you enjoyed it. I had some fun recording it with our community here. But, what would be really helpful if you guys could help us out would be to leave a review on your favorite podcast listening app. Rating it on iTunes, Google Play, wherever. That's super helpful. Helps get the word spread. Of course, you guys do a wonderful job on Twitter to spread the word at Z2Z, ZEDTOZED. And I highly recommend taking a trip over to our show notes over at Z2Z.com. Again, ZEDTOZED. That lots of links and videos in there that you guys should take a look at. There's some really cool stuff that played in directly to what we were talking about tonight. Of course, that leaderboard tracker is going to be over there. That'll be a good place to get it started. And once you have it locked in, you can bookmark that page and track all of the people in the True Achievements leaderboard, which, if you're listening to this, I highly recommend you join, because that will be our avenue to make announcements. And one such announcement that will be coming up in the near future, the link to the Z2Z forums. We can't wait. We can't wait to get this thing kicked off and started reading what people's backlogs and what they've been playing, and have a place for contests and all sorts of random crap. It'll be fun. It'll be a fun little community that we get to start up. I'm really excited about it. Of course, you can also contact us, like I mentioned, with Twitter, but you can also contact us through our email, contact@z2z.com. And kind of to wrap things up, I want to give a shout-out to everybody who's helped out this week. So, TrueAchievements.com, of course, Eurogamer, Blizzard, GameSpot, Engadget, Angry Mob Games, Telltale, Bungie, and any other dedicated achievement site that has helped out that I failed to mention. But of course, we cannot forget about Microsoft and their fabulous Xbox console. So, on behalf of Seb, the Nighty, and Dave Doughboy, This has been Brandon, and to all you achievement hunters and Gamerscore junkies out there, thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you next episode. That was awesome. I'm glad you brought that up, because that fit in really well. That's a great feature content piece.
Yeah, plus we weren't at the 3 hours yet, so.